Inquiries into the Possibilities of Games and Art, Part 3: Games and Gameplay. Play is not gameplay. Let me claim something controversial. Minecraft is not a game. Minecraft is not a game in the same way Legos are not a game. They are toys. People have fun with Minecraft. They create in Minecraft and they play in Minecraft. But it is not Minecraft that they play. It is what is created in Minecraft that is played with, yet this play is not the play of games. Certainly people do play games in Minecraft, but those games are not Minecraft any more than playing tic-tac-toe with Legos is playing Legos. Now, in due time, Minecraft has increasingly become a game that is played rather than a creative tool and toy, but my point stands. Play is a phenomenon of activity which is more spiritually primitive than games. Even animals, those furry, cute, yet often filthy and disease-ridden critters in the backwoods, under our porches and in our trash cans, are seen to play, and to play even into adulthood. There are no rules and there is no determinate goal of playing. One merely begins out of the blue and revels in it until one is done. To plan how and why one plays is to undermine the play itself. We see playing arise anywhere, with anyone, and with anything, alone or with others, though as we grow older we find it becomes overwhelmingly social in nature. The concept of play is the comic, arbitrary exercise of one's power as the free use of one's power as an end in itself. It is the sheer joy of the realization of free powers, that is, capacities, in an activity with consciousness that all activity is nullified at the end and no determinations ensue. In play, there is no winning or losing. There is no succeeding or failing. There is only the realization of powers. Like water, which in facing resistance only shifts its movement towards the path of least resistance and carries on as if nothing has gone awry, so too do children play and shift their activities as circumstances deny one possibility only to open up another. What begins as pretending to be on Monkey Island in the backyard easily ends with Ape Escape in a closet full of boxes. The realization of power in play understands no denial and no limit, for it possesses within itself no determinate goal to finalize itself. Anywhere can be an end as much as it is a beginning. The comic element of play is its inherent irrelevance for anything else. All is good in the end, no matter what. What happens in play remains in the play, and as a consequence, it is necessary that nothing of the activity lead to any ensuing determinations, bodily or mental harm, lest play be nullified as play. There is, of course, a common meaning of play, which is to some extent true to concept yet one-sided. For example, a cat playing with a mouse, or a man or woman playing with someone romantically interested with them. The cat and the player suffer no consequences of meaning from their actions, but their victims certainly do. In a related point, children who lose themselves in the act of play no longer are acting as pretending, but acting out a reality, and thus they are not playing even if they don't see it as anything other than play. We all recognize that in such situations, play has gone far beyond what it should be. It is then something else of a serious nature. In play, one engages in activity merely because one can, and one enjoys it merely because in doing it one is actualizing a potency spontaneously. What is the purpose and meaning of a kitten chasing after a butterfly only to release it and chase it again if it catches it? What is the purpose and meaning of a child jumping in and out of a puddle, or swinging on a branch pretending to be a monkey? What is the meaning and purpose of an adult man in a warehouse parkouring across the place while on the job? Some would say we play to alleviate boredom, to blow off steam or stress, but that is not logically nor empirically true. The joy of chasing butterflies is simply in the chasing because one can, and the actualizing of this is a confirmation of one's free exercise of power for its own sake. The joy of jumping in and out of puddles is entirely in the fact that it is one jumping in and out of puddles. The joy of parkouring is in traversing everyday places in physically demanding ways just because we can, because we like how it looks and we like how it feels. People begin playing whenever it seems to be their fancy, and this fancy arises under no conscious decision to do so. One realizes they are playing only after one has already begun playing. One does it merely because one can, and one enjoys it because it is the realization of freedom in the exercise of one's power. Now, one may seemingly intuitively claim that one plays for the sake of fun, and that play is thus not truly for its own sake. There is a common confusion about fun and play. Often they're conflated and used to mean the same thing. Having fun with someone or something often means the same as playing with them, and the one-sided meaning of play and fun also applies in the ambiguity of playing and having fun with someone or something. It is common to understand fun as a feeling close to, if not identical to, joy, but joy in general seems much broader than the intended meaning of fun. If fun is distinct from play, yet confused with it, it is only because fun is the joy of play in general. As play is the free expression of power, fun is the feeling of that expression. One cannot play for the sake of fun, for fun comes in tandem with the actuality of play. That is, there is no fun without play, and no play without fun. Games and fun are not one. Discovery, creation, and exploration are not games, though we certainly have such as part of games. Here we find a common equivocation that what is interesting and fun is identical to a game. If I go out into the woods and have fun simply discovering things in nature, I am not playing a game of anything. I am simply enjoying and having fun. Were I even to go out with the aim to discover X amount of things, I would not be playing a game. Nature does not design itself as a thing to be beat or lost to. Finding 10 things today and 20 tomorrow is not a high score which is based on my skill in a situation which has a determinate finite number of things to discover and achieve completion with. In such a situation, I do not know how well I did, since I do not know how well I could have done. The moment a situation is made finite, however, I still am not playing a game. Were I to make for myself an arbitrary goal to pick every cherry on a cherry tree and mark that as the condition of winning, and were I to try it and succeed or not, I wouldn't have played a game. There's nothing to beat or lose to any more than one can beat or lose to the river skipping rocks. The moment there is a competition, however, there's now a real metric for a high score, X more than the other player. Suppose that the aim was to climb up a rocky cliff and make it to the top. Simply accomplishing this is not a game. We have set a challenge and we have overcome, but what have we overcome? A natural object, but not the rules of a game. Perhaps climbing the cliff is very doable. Perhaps it is even impossible. But there is nothing being beat which is determined by a game. One cannot have a game called Climb This Mountain and plop someone in front of a mountain. Is the mountain even climbable? We don't know. Is there an easy path most can make it with, but which is longer, or is there a harder path which is shorter? We don't know. There are no rules given to how one must get to the top, so one could just fly a helicopter there and win. Setting a destination and going there is no game. When does climbing the mountain become a game? When the measure of success and failure is based on the game rules and the player's capacities to overcome the game environment or another individual through those rules. Climb this mountain. We don't know if you can make it to the top, but the winner is the one who gets highest. Now it's a game. You can make it to the top, and the winner is the one who makes it there first. Now it's a game. You can get there an easy way or a hard way, but the winner is the one that makes it there and has the highest points collected through clearing obstacles on the way there. Now it's a game. You can get there any way you can, and it's the Wild West. First to get there wins. Now it's a game. But what about getting over it with Bennett Foddy? Is this not precisely a game that is simply a blank challenge? Get to the top any way you can. What is your reward in the end in-game? Nothing but a stupid board with your name and your finish time. In the end, the goal which appeared first, to get to the top and find out what is there, is supplanted by the only other goal a game could have when it lacks a genuinely satisfying win condition in itself. The challenge to simply beat another person or oneself. The game doesn't even need the board at the end. It could have had absolutely nothing at the end. Nowhere to go, nothing to do. Time simply idling by until you start or quit. And this competitive aspect would have arisen and certified it as a game. A game is a competition either with the predetermined game itself or with another player in the game. I can beat the game, I can beat another player, and perhaps I can beat both at once, a la Dark Souls. With the clear distinction of games and play, we can now distinguish the realms of activity which they pertain to. While games by concept cannot be art, and by extension gameplay cannot, there is nonetheless a nagging intuition that video games may possibly be art if gameplay and game were split. And in common language among gamers themselves, this is an interesting distinction. What is often meant by gameplay is simply interaction in general, without reference to a game at all. In this sense, we can have gameplay without a game. And now we can ask, can gameplay be aesthetic?